Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will talk about the latest Maven Analytics challenge. The challenge is on family leave policy. If we talk about the family leaves, they vary across the industries or the companies, also according to the gender. So in this dashboard, we will try to address this policy and analyze which are the best companies or the industries for both men and women. All right, so this is our front end. So this is my main page. You can see family leave challenge. You can choose your gender. So get insights on which companies and industries are better in terms of paid as well as unpaid leaves weekly. All right, so if I click on this particular picture, this will redirect me to the female family leave. Right, if I click here, you can see this is maternity leaves analysis, right? In my first graph, you can see this is industry wise, company wise, what is my average unpaid leaves and average paid leaves. So if I sort this on the basis of average paid leaves, so I'm getting number one company is ASML, then second is ROKT, then third is Inc. Communications Company. So these three companies are coming under any industry. That means these are not mapped to any industry. So if we talk about the next company, that is WK Kellogg Foundation, that comes under philanthropy, right? So this is how you can see which are my top companies according to the average paid leaves and unpaid leaves, right? So now if I check the second graph, I have created this average of total maternity leaves by company. So here you can see these are the top 10 companies according to the average total maternity leaves. Total means paid as well as unpaid, right? So number one is Bit Defender, second is Dynatrans, then third is Grant Thornton GT, that is, then fourth is ASML, fifth is Degreed, Spokane County, then Vineyard Wood, Reliance Industries, VHL Group, and finally we have World Health Organization, WHO. So these are the top 10 companies, right? If I click on sub industry, I can see these are my top 5 sub industries. Number one is software, then there is blank, so that means those companies are not coming in any sub industry. I will show you the data set, then you will understand what this blank is. Then third is county, fourth is e-learning, and fifth is international. If I click on industry, you will see all the data changes for industry. Number one is technology, then second is accounting services, third is NA, as we were talking about this NA, then educational services, law firm. So if you are quite worried about NA and you think this is not relevant, then you can definitely ignore this and you can slice this from the data set. But it depends on your requirement. If you feel this is relevant and you must keep these data in your data set, then you should not slice this. So I have not sliced it as of now, but in case you feel that this is not relevant, then you can slice it. All right, and if I come to the third graph, this is average paid plus average unpaid, right? So I can see here ASML, the average paid is 52 weeks and unpaid is 40 weeks, right? So this is highly it's a good company in terms of pays leaves, right? If I click on average unpaid, right, so this is showing me all these companies are providing 52 weeks. So this is highly unlikely. I mean, no company provides you 52 weeks of unpaid maternity leaves. But these are the responses from some of the users which can be freelancers or who are given with the paid responses. So you can't rely on these kind of data, but this is just for representation and demo purpose, right? So if I scroll down, I can see which are the companies providing me how many number of weeks of unpaid as well as paid, right? So this is very simple yet very effective. Now if I go towards this is my donut chart. I can see top 5 industries as per the average paid and unpaid, right? So this is my number one. This is contributing somewhere around 28%, right? Second is philanthropy. This is contributing somewhere around 24.33% according to my top level. Like these are the top industries where I can see the total paid as well as unpaid leaves are higher. So if I click on, let's say, publishing, right? So publishing, it is contributing somewhere around 16%. If I click on publishing, I can see these are the companies under publishing, right? I can see the total average unpaid leaves, average paid leaves. Here I can see these are the companies. If I drill down, so if I have to drill down, I can drill down from here or drill up. You will see this is blank, and then you will see this is publishing, but we don't want this because this will become irrelevant. I'll go back, right? So these are the companies, right? If you see over here, these are total paid maternity leaves, right? So if you see from here, you will see my net data, majority of data you can say, is between 0 to 20 weeks, and these are some of the bigger lines. So this line is resonating to 12 weeks, this line is resonating to 6 weeks, right? So 6 weeks and 12 weeks are predominantly higher, right? And if I unselect publishing, you can see the data changes. So this is very effective, right? So similarly, if I go to paternity, this is for paternity, same data set and same structure, everything is same, just the fields are different because here I have taken paternity leaves, right? So I will explain you how to build this from end to end and what are the important things. I have created the parameter. This is through parameter, right? So if you click here or click here, instead of using bookmarks or something, you can use parameter for this, field parameter, right? I will show you this as well. I will show you how to use bookmark to reset, right? So if I click here and I want to reset, I can click on reset and everything will be reset to default, right? And here we have used page navigation. If I go back home, I will get the default page. If I have to go back to, let's say, the paternal page, this is my paternity leaves page, not paternal. All right, so here you can see whatever you want to see, you can, and then you can go back to maternity and then you can go back to home, whatever you feel like. So this is very interactive, very interesting. I will show you step by step how to make this. So let's get started. All right guys, so now we are on Power BI Desktop. So if you have worked on Power BI, you would be knowing this interface. Now my first step should be to get the data. There are multiple ways of getting the data. You can use this and you can click on any data sources relevant to you, or you can click here as well, right? So let's say I want to have a data from CSV file, so I'll just click on text CSV, right? So this is my dataset parental_leave.csv, right? So now you can check, this is my data, company, then industry, paid, unpaid maternity leave, then paid paternity leave, unpaid paternity leave, and these are some of the columns which are not relevant or which are not correct, so we need to remove them as well. So we can write directly click on load, or we can click on transform data. So if you feel you have to transform the data, you should click on transform, otherwise you can simply load, right? So now this table is loaded in your Power BI Desktop. Now you can see here. So for example, if you want to see, let's say one of my favorite company, Grant Thornton. So this industry is accounting services. I can see paid maternity leaves are 51, unpaid maternity leaves are 51, paid paternity leaves are 51, unpaid is not applicable, maybe the response was not taken for this, and some of the columns are empty which are not required, right? So this is how the table is, right? I can clear all the filters and this is my data set. Now one thing is, if you check the industry, if you click here, you will see there are so many industries and there are sub industries. For example, in automotive, we have dealers, we have manufacturers, we have parts manufacturing, then we have products and services, right? So one of the key step would be to split the column so that I can get the industry as well as the sub industry, right? Because in this case, my industry is automotive, sub industries would be dealers, manufacturers, parts, etc., right? So let's try to do these steps. So for this, I will go to editor. So I will click on edit query. Right. So first thing first, let me just remove these columns which are not required. Anyways, these are empty. So I can just right click and click on remove columns. Right. So now we have a better data. Now in this industry, let me just create a duplicate of this column. Right click and click on duplicate column. Now I need to split this. Right click and click split column by delimiter, because here delimiter is colon, right? So colon is my delimiter, and I can split on each occurrence because anyway there is one colon in each cell. But let me just click on leftmost delimiter, right, and click OK. So this will split and I will get two columns, right? So this is my industry. Now the column name conflict because I already have a column with industry name. So let me just change this name, industry underscore main, let's say. Right now this is my industry name and this is my sub industry, right? So we have industry, sub industry, then company, right? Now you would see that unpaid maternity leave, paid maternity leave, and unpaid maternity leave, the data type is ABC. That means it is text. Now if you want to do any aggregate function, like for example you want to do average of all the numbers or sum, that is not possible on data type text, right? So for that you need to change it to the decimal or whole number, right? But why this is coming in text? One of the reason is there might be some errors, right? Let's see. If you expand this and click on load more and scroll down, you will see there is NA, right? So there are various values with NA. Let me see which are the values. So here for these companies, right, I'm getting NA. That means I don't have any response for them. So that means I can click have 0 or at least write null, because I don't want NA to be there in my data set, right? So once I clean this, then only I would be able to work on my dashboard. So for that, I can just again remove the filters, and what I can do is right click, and what I can do, replace values. I can replace NA with null, for example. Let's see what it do. If I expand this, load more, I don't have any NA now, right? It is in null now, which is totally fine. Now if I want to change the data type, I can change it to decimal number, right? Perfect. Similarly with this and this, right click, replace values, NA with null, and click OK. Again change the data type to decimal number, right? Perfect. Now my data set looks amazing. I have company, I have paternity and maternity, paid unpaid leaves, right? Then industry and sub industry. Perfect. Now what I need to do is I need to close and apply. Alright, so now we have the data set. If I go back to home page, Now you can do whatever you feel like. For example, I will have a table, or let's say metrics. I want to check industry wise, let's say paternity, paid leaves, right? It should not be sum, because what it is doing is, in accounting services there are various companies, right? So it is doing sum of all the paid paternity leaves. So that is not at all relevant. There is no point of summing. So in this case, what I will do is click on this arrow, down arrow, and instead of sum, you can click on average, right? If you click on average, you will get the average of all these industries. So if you click on other things, let's say paid maternity, then unpaid maternity, unpaid paternity, right? And again you have to do it average. Right, so now here you can see a summarized version, like in accounting services, what is my average paid leaves, paid maternity and unpaid, etc. I can add the company as well below industry. So now if I expand advertising, I will see all the companies under advertising, and whatever is the value I will be able to see over here, right? So this is how easy it is using Power BI. So now let's see how I created the dashboard, right? So first of all, let's work on home page, right? For home page, let me just set up the background, click browse image. This is the image I want. Transparency should be 0, because if it is 100 I won't be able to see the picture, right? So this is my picture. Image fit should be fill, yeah, fill should looks good, or fit, I think fill is fine, right? So now we have the background set, right? Now we need to add some text. For example, I will insert a text which will tell me this is my Maven family leaves challenge, right? So this, I need to change the background. I can click on effect, I can click on off background, and now change the color of the text to white, make it bold, and make the font size little larger, let's say maybe 60. Right, so let's keep it like this. All right, already looking good, right? So we can have one more text similar to this, right? Here what I can write, select the gender. You can also write get the insights on the best industries and companies to work for in terms of maternity, paternity leaves, right? Make the font color as white, and let's say the size is 16. So what I'm saying is, you have to select a gender, because the leaves would be different for the men and for women, right? I need to add 2 images here. So what I'll do is insert and click images. One is maternity, right? It is here. Click again on image and click on paternity, right? So you can expand this like this. All right, so it's up to you, your creativity, how you use it, and it will look really good. right? So this is the one thing, right? So now I need to create another page. This will be one page would be for, let's say, maternity, right? Here I need to add some of the tables. First I will add the metrics table. For metrics table I need to add industry, I need to add company, right, in the rows. Then I need to add averages. For averages, let's first create some DAX, right? Let me just create new measure in this table itself. So the name of the DAX can be average paid maternity is equal to calculate average of paid maternity, right? Let's create another DAX for unpaid maternity. So that would be average unpaid maternity is equal to calculate average of unpaid maternity, bracket closed, right? So now I have two DAX for averages. I can simply put in the values, right? So this is my first matrix where I can just expand and you can see the average paid maternity, average unpaid maternity. Here one more thing, if you want this column in a separate column, so right now it is not in the different column, so it's like stepped layout. So you call this stepped layout because there is one step and you can add another step to each step, right? So I don't want stepped layout, I want a different column, right? So what I'll do is I'll go to the format your visual, right? This is my row header, right? Click on plus minus icon, options, and click off. This stepped layout should be off, right? So this is how it will show me. So for example, if I go to the first level, now let's say I click on accounting services, right? So this is how it will show me. For accounting, all the company names, then advertising, all the company names. So whatever format you like you can use. This is nice. So for the timing, let's use this, right? Let me just make it more usable, right? So this is one of the metrics which I had to create. Now if I have to create another table, let me just copy and paste, right? So here what I want is I want a clustered bar chart. So I'll just create cluster bar chart and I will have industry, company and sub industry. For that what I will do is, instead of creating a separate chart for each and every column, I will create a parameter. So how to create a parameter? Click on modeling, click on new parameter and fields. Here click on parental leaves. I need company, I need industry, I need sub industry, right? So first of all I will add industry, then sub industry, then company. So this is my parameter master, for example, right? Now I have added the slicer of industry, sub industry, company, but will it work? For example, if I click on company, this graph doesn't change, right? Nothing is changing because this is not linked. So for linking I have to use this parameter in the values. So instead of this, anyway this I don't want, right? So in y-axis I will use parameter underscore master. Right, so now I have industry, sub-industry, company. You will see here I can see industry because it is selected. If I click on sub-industry, then sub-industry will come. If I click on company, company will come. Now I need to add the values. So this will be total maternity leaves. So total maternity leaves will be the sum of the paid as well as unpaid. Right, so for example, if I go to the main page, main table, so here paid maternity, unpaid maternity, the sum of these two columns will be my total maternity leaves. So let me just create a new column for this. Total maternity leaves is equal to paid maternity plus unpaid maternity. Right, so if you click on total and select this in x-axis, you will get the values. So these are my companies. If we click on sub industry, you will get all the sub industry. If I click on industry, I'll get all the industries. Right, so this is how you can use, and I can change the settings of the slicer. I can click the style as tile and make the size smaller. I don't need the title, so I will remove the slicer header. Right, now I can use this. So this will look really nice, and you don't have to create bookmarks and all for this. Right, so if I click on industry, I am getting industry. If I click on sub industry, I'll get all the sub industries. If I click on company, I'm getting all the companies from top to bottom. I can add the data label as well. So data label, click on, I will get all the values over here. Right, so I will go to the formatting later on. Let me just add all the visuals which we want on this page. Right, so now I want another bar chart. So let me just add this clustered bar chart. Here again I want industry, sub industry and company. Right, so I can just add from here this time industry, sub industry and then company. Right, everything in y-axis. So I have this. Now I want average paid plus average unpaid. Right, for that again I have to create a parameter. If I have to toggle between these two averages, so I have to create a parameter, otherwise you have to create bookmarks and it will be very cumbersome. So let's go to modeling and click on new parameter, click fields. So this is a very important feature. You might not use this all the time, but whenever you're using, you are reducing your time spent on Power BI. So this is a really nice way to create the dashboard. So if you are not understanding this, you can just pause the video and just try doing yourself and then see how I am doing. Right, so if I click on parental leave, I want average paid and average unpaid. So this is my parameter underscore maternity. Right, so now in this particular visual I can add this parameter. Okay, this should not be in legend, this should be in x-axis. So I'll just drag this. All right, let me just change the chart to stacked bar chart. Yes, and add the data labels. All right, so now I have this. Let me just take the format of this to utilize my time. Oops, 1 second. Click again on format painter and click over here. Right, So if I click on average paid maternity, I'll get only the details related to average paid maternity. Then if I click on average unpaid maternity, I can see how many unpaid maternity weeks are there for each industry. And then if I hover down or maybe go to the next level, I can see sub industry level, I can see company level, right? So this is really nice. And the beauty of these toggles is if you change here, it won't change anywhere else. This toggle is only for this visual, right? Now I want to create a donut chart, so I'll just click on donut chart. Right now for donut chart, I need top 5 industries according to the leaves, right? So I need to add the industry here and then total leaves. And in filter, I want top 5 industries. So filter type should be top N, and N would be 5 over here according to total maternity leaves. And it should not be the sum of total maternity leaves, it should be the average, right? So if you go over here, you will see my accounting services are on top, then publishing, then philanthropy, NA, and printing. So there is one more thing. If you want to have average paid and average unpaid, right? So instead of total maternity, I can add the parameter itself and you will see the bifurcation. So these total top 5 industries, for example, philanthropy, right? So it is showing me 14%, roughly 14% is coming from paid maternity and 5% is coming from unpaid maternity, right? So I can see there are 5 different colors and each color is split into 2 areas, right? So one is for paid and one is for unpaid. So this is how you can visualize. This is a very powerful way to understand the data, right? And one last thing I wanted to add this chart. This is ribbon chart. This will show me the scarcity. I mean, wherever the data is, you can see. For example, if I have to map the data on the basis of paid maternity leaves, right? So I will add the paid maternity leaves in X as well as Y, and it should not be sum, it should be count. So if you see here, you will see the pattern. So from 0 to 52, you know, in 1 year there are 52 weeks or 53 weeks, right? So we have this data set where the minimum is 0 and maximum is 52. So I have all the distribution from 0 to 52, and you can see from this particular visual, the maximum visual or distribution is between 0 to 20 weeks, right? And maximum is at 12 weeks and second highest is 6 weeks, right? So this will change for each and every industry. If I click on, let's say, Reliance Industries, right? So currently the interaction is not there. I'll edit and click on one visual and make it filter, right? So this is what you have to do. For example, now again, if I click on Grant Thornton, you'll see the count of paid maternity leaves is 51. Now if I have to check this on the basis of one particular industry, accounting services, let me just add the interaction. Now you will see here, this is my distribution for accounting services. You can see from 3.5 leaves till 14 leaves, I have the maximum contribution or distribution over here, and then there is just one record for 51 leaves, right? So majority, you can see it is over here for accounting services. So if you are planning to go in accounting services, then you would instead focus on this area than this area, because there is only one record in 51 leaves. So you might not be impressed that with accounting services that they are providing me 51 leaves. No, they are not providing you 51 weeks leaves. They are providing you this area leaves. I mean, maybe somewhere around 8 weeks or 12 weeks or maximum 14 weeks, right? So you can analyze this way. Now this is one. I have created all the visuals, but how to map this? For example, if I am at home, I click here and I will go to maternity. For example, here this image, I have to click on of the action, and the type should be page navigation. So I want to navigate from one page to another, so it will be page navigation. Destination, so this is my source table, source page, and from here, from this page, I want to go to maternity for this particular image. If I click on this image, I should go to maternity, right? So the destination would be maternity, right? So if I click here, I will directly go to maternity. This is what we want, right? So if I just drag it down, and close the interactions, add the background. Let's try to make it more beautiful. The color can be, let's say, 60% lighter. Transparency is 0, let's say, or maybe 10 or 25. All right, 25 is okay for the timing. Now let me just change the visual. Go to effects, the background, let's say it is again this one, right? And headers are bold with the white text, and background is dark, right? So this is fine. Alignment should be in middle, right? Now this is fine. Now I need to change the color of the background. I can add the shadow as well. Let me just add the shadow inside with the positioning of the center, right? So it is up to you how you want to make the changes, how beautify you can do with your dashboards, right? Now one of the important thing is how to navigate from this page to paternity. So similarly, you will create one more page. Let's say I'll just create duplicate page, and this is paternity, right? Now I would say how to go from maternity to paternity, and from paternity to home, and from home to paternity, right? Here, first of all, you have to change all the visuals according to paternity. The way we created for maternity, similarly we will do it for paternity. Simple, right? Now if I go to maternity, I will create some buttons. Let's say I'll click on insert and click on shapes, right? First of all, let me just divide this, because it's very important to understand. And now let me just insert the text box. This is for maternity leaves analysis, right? Remove the background. I really don't like this background. Let's make it bold. Size can be, let's say, 18 or 20. right? So this is the one. All right, so this will explain me that this is for maternity leaves. Otherwise people will get confused, this is for which one, right? Now if I want to add some buttons, so I'll click on shapes. Let's say I just take this button, right? Let me just keep it over here and make some changes in the color. Let's say the color is this one. Effect is also this one. Visual border, I will add the white color. I really love white borders, so let me just add this with the rounded corners, right? One second. In style we already have this border, I can remove this, right? So now we have our own button. Click on style, click on text and write it home and bold and increase the font size, and this looks good, right? So we have this button. I will add one more button. Let me align this in the center. Now here this is for paternity. So currently we are on maternity. I want one button on which, on the click of which, I will go to paternity, right? So this is paternity, right? Now I just want to add a reset button. Right, so this is my reset button. So for example, if I click on paternity, it should redirect me to this page. How to do that? So if I click here, go to action, and type should be page navigation, destination is paternity. Again with home, click on type should be page navigation, destination should be home, right? Again going to paternity, you can just copy all these things so that you don't have to do it again and again. Right, so this is my paternity. Here it will come maternity. In the home action, my action will be same, right? If I see here destination is home, so this is fine. Here my destination will be maternity, right? So now if you see, if you click on maternity, you will be redirected to maternity. If you click on home, you will be redirected to home. If I click here maternity, it will go to maternity. From here, if I go to paternity, I can click here and go to maternity leaves. Now if I again go back to home, from here I can go back to home. From here I need to add the action. Click here, go to page navigation, destination is paternity. So from here also I can go to paternity now and go back to home. So what I have done is, this is my home page. This will give me the overview, what is expected, right? So this is Maven family leaves challenge, right? So you have to select the gender. For example, you are a male and you want to see which are the good companies for my paternity leaves, right? So you will click on your icon, click here, and then see the analysis and finalize which company you should choose, right, according to your needs, right? So this is very interactive and very useful, and these are the dashboards which are being prepared by the industries and they analyze the data. right? So currently we have a very small data set, so there is no hassle. Plus there is only one table, so we have parental underscore leave. This is only one table, so the data modeling part is not here, right? So we are not using any tape mapping like one to many or many to many, or any kind of other relationships, right? So this is fairly a simple data set with only 1600 records. So all you need to do is drag and drop, make some of the DAX functions, and then create some parameters, and with your understanding create these visuals. So if you want more complex tutorials, I have already created on Power BI end-to-end tutorials, right? So I will share the links to them. You can just go through those tutorials and understand which are the complex things which you don't know, and you can learn from those videos, right? So because Power BI is a very powerful tool, it's a BI tool, as you know, and if you are moving into data analytics field, it is one of the most important things. So apart from SQL, knowing a BI tool makes a huge impact on your salary as well, right? So if you are working on preparing the tutorials or preparing the projects on Power BI, then go through these videos. You will understand how to create DAX, that is one of the most important thing, and how to work on Power Query. So if I go to home page and click on transform data, right, working on this platform is very important. So this is one of the, like, you can say trailer that I used a split function, right? Using split column, I can split the column into 2 or 3 or 4 columns according to the delimiter or according to the condition. But there are so many things, plethora of things to do on Power Query. I have already created the tutorials on that, so just check it out and see which are the most important things for you and how you can use them, right? I hope this video was useful to you. So I am not doing end to end, I mean I'm not using all the borders and colors the way I showed you, but I hope you understood how to do that. This is for understanding purpose only. Alright guys, thanks a lot for watching this video, and look out for my next video. Thank you guys.